Street Fighter Alpha. Street Fighter.
Hey guys, today we're playing Street Fighter Alpha, as it said 2 times. On the PlayStation 2. This is the arcade version. This is on the Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. This came out after the many various versions of Street Fighter 2. I think the last one that came out was Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't know much about this series. I didn't play it much. I think the first one I ever played was Street Fighter Alpha 3 on the PlayStation 1. But we'll cover it since sorry, my microphone just fell. I'm sure that sounded awesome. I make sure the sound's still running. This probably sounds really stupid if it's not. Yeah, it is. Alright, good, great. Alright, we're off to a great start. So this is supposed to be a prequel after Street Fighter 1 but before Street Fighter 2. So you'll see a lot of Street Fighter 1 characters if you know who they are. I'm not really that familiar. There's not a lot of characters in this. That's why Street Fighter Alpha 2 is almost like a remake of this game. We'll play as Chun-Li since she's usually a staple. One thing about this game, it looks like I don't like Turbo, sorry. It looks like this game's terrible at transparencies. So I think this runs on the CPS Capcom 2 hardware. I should have checked what the controls are. I was playing Street Fighter 2 Alpha on the Super Nintendo with Chun-Li, which is surprisingly a decent port despite the sound and graphic downgrades. It's actually pretty fun, but that's based on 2. And I could pull off a lot of the moves on that one, but it looks like they might be slightly different on this. I hate the way Capcom does the hit attacks on here. Instead of putting one punch and one kick button on each side, they like to put it on both sides, which to me is weird. Plus I don't like the spongy analog buttons, but this was made during the PS2 era, so they didn't know about the spongy buttons. But they did the same thing for Street Fighter 4. This game looks a lot better than Street Fighter 2, but I don't know why they insist on trying to make the backgrounds transparent. I think it looks terrible. When Castlevania Symphony of the Night came out on the Sega Saturn, it was a Japanese only release. All the transparent monsters and ghost-like characters had that look to them that were supposed to be transparent. It looked ridiculous. I said I'd be doing retro games. I did a few. I fully recorded a few, but the videos are too long, or the capturing slowed it down somewhat. I didn't want to give you guys a crappy video. This is somewhat of a retro-ish game, so it's whatever. The backgrounds are pretty bland and boring. I do have to say the response on the Super Nintendo seemed to be a little bit better. Though this is the arcade version. But this is Street Fighter Alpha 1. Basically, when I do the video of part 2, you'll see it's almost basically a remake. If you notice the Z in Japan, I believe the series is called Street Fighter Zero. That's why there's a whole Z thing. I noticed on Netflix they had like a whole anime of this series, as I know they did for Street Fighter 2. I think when the game first came out, Street Fighter 2, there was like nothing like anime wise. So I guess not a lot of people knew about whatever their story was or even cared. But now you play Street Fighter 4 and they have like full-fledged story modes. They even have ridiculous storylines for Street Fighter versus Tekken, or Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Sorry, they couldn't just call it Street Fighter versus Tekken. I always thought Chun-Li's tracksuit looked ridiculous. I'll say something negative about her because she died, but it's because I'm talking and I'm button mashing, and really, you can get away with that a little bit on Mortal Kombat, but not on these games. But I don't know how to play and talk without button mashing. One thing, unless I didn't see it, that I wish this had was a moves list. And it doesn't have one. Alright, I'm going to stop here because I'm going to eventually show you guys Street Fighter Alpha 2, and it's almost like essentially a remake of this game. Like they're going with Afterburner 2 numbers there. But so if you wonder what the sequel Afterburner looked like if they came up with one, those are all the Roman numerals. Are actually those are just numerics, just regular numerics. I'm rambling, but I'll show you just Street Fighter Alpha 2. There's no reason to continuously show you this when the next game is going to be basically the same. But thank you for watching, and now you have this in the archive if you were curious what Street Fighter Alpha looked like. Again, this is Street Fighter Alpha on the anthology, Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. It also comes with Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, and Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Super Gem Fighter, which is Pocket Fighter in the US. I don't even think they ever came out with the arcade game of that. I only remember on the PlayStation. But take care. Bye.